Fine. Step out. Out!
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ignacio Olivas is suing Brittany Hill Warner for damages to his vehicle after her car door flew open and hit his car.
Order. All rise. It's case number 60 on the calendar in the matter of Olivas versus Warner.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
Mr. Olivas, it is your claim that Miss Warner damaged your car.
Right.
She damaged your car, according to you, when, as you were pulling out of a parking spot, she had just gotten into the parking spot, opened up her door into your car.
Right.
Was your car moving at the time?
No, ma'am.
You were about to pull out of the spot.
I wasn't ready to pull out. I was checking some receipts.
So you were sitting in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in a parking lot of a big store, a Walmart?
Walmart, yes, ma'am.
Had you already been in the store?
Yes.
And you were going into the store?
That's correct.
On what date did this happen, Mr. Olivas?
February to 11 o'clock in the morning.
That's not true.
How long had you been sitting in your car?
3-4 minutes.
Did Miss Warner pull up on the passenger side or the driver's side?
The passenger side.
Did you see her car pulling in?
I wasn't watching because I was watching my receipts, looking at my receipts. And then when I noticed is when I hit a big hit on my car. When she opened the door.
That's
and
a lie.
And the wind.
I don't want to hear you.
And the wind, it was too windy, and the wind took the door away from her and scratched my car and broke the mirror.
Oh, that's a lie. It's not Chicago. Like, the wind is not that bad. It's Reno, Nevada.
What part of I don't want to hear you until I ask you? Don't you understand? Who is this?
That's my husband.
Good. I have a few questions for him. Stand up. How long have you known each other?
About 11 years.
I would like the first and last name of anybody that you know who fixes cars. First and last name.
I got the last name. I don't know the first.
Well, that's not helpful to me.
His name is...
Shut up! I don't want you to open your mouth until I ask you a question. Do you understand?
I do.
This is not going to be easy. It's going to get harder. So you do not have the name of anyone who fixes cars.
Garcia.
Now, did your wife just tell you the first name?
Yes.
How do you know?
He fixes all of the family members' cars.
How did you meet him?
Through fixing my car.
Through
My
your wife?
Yes.
So you met Mr. Garcia through your wife because you didn't even know his first name. She had to tell you his first name, right? This is all going to become very important. You understand how it's going to become important, right?
Yes.
Yes. You understand? You understand how it's going to become very important. You know exactly where I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
Smart.
Oh, I'm all over
Now
it.
you can sit.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you both got out of the car, when this happened, and I assume you both got out of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
She said, I'm sorry, I will promise you to fix your car, whatever the damage is.
Okay, that's what she said.
And I asked her for a pin to write down her name and policy insurance and everything. She don't have it. I don't have it either. So I asked her for her phone number. She gave me the number, and I called right there right away. And
Did Miss Warner, according to her answer that she signed, ever say to you, I felt badly for him and told him that my husband knew someone who could fix it cheaply? Now we know where we're going, right? Right. Not I know someone who can fix it. My husband knew someone who could fix it cheaply. She said, and you called the number, so you knew it was the right number.
she gave me her husband's phone number, and I did call him, and he told me, I'm at work right now. When I get off from work, I will call you back. Since then, I haven't heard from them at all.
Okay. So now you can stand up, sir.
Thank you.
Good. Just answer my questions. So your wife knew Garcia's name. Your wife knew Garcia's number. So there would be nothing to prevent your wife from saying to him, I really feel badly for you. My family's been using somebody for years. His name is Garcia. This is his number. He could probably fix it for you cheaply. Now, does that sound reasonable to you? I just read you what she wrote. Doesn't it sound reasonable if what her excuse is I never hit his car, but I felt sorry for him, and I wanted to get him somebody who could fix his car cheaply. She could give him his name and his number because you got all that information from her. right?
Wrong.
You just told me you met Garcia through your wife.
Correct.
Right. So she had the information. So she had to give it to you sometime 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Correct.
Whatever. She had the information.
She doesn't have it anymore, though. I'm the one who deals with all the
You don't even know his first name.
Because I call him Mr.
Just a
Garcia.
second. Sit down. Sir, it's not true. That doesn't require an answer. That was a statement. Close your mouth. But then you managed to get a paper, Mr. Olivas, according to your complaint, and you wrote down her information.
Yes, I did.
Her tag number and the license plate number on her car. And you got no satisfaction from either the defendant or the husband when you tried to contact them. Put your hand down.
They never call me, Your Honor.
Now, the next thing that you did was you really tried to find them.
Right.
And you hired a process server.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that you?
It's him over here.
Would you stand up, please?
He's a molester.
It's all very easy. You do the wrong thing happens. You do the wrong thing, you get skunked sometimes at the end. Sometimes you come out scot-free. This is somebody who, instead of just letting it go and fixing whatever the mirror it was, he went to the expense of hiring a process server because you did the wrong thing.
Not true.
The right thing? Oh, yeah. The wrong thing. That didn't make sense what you said in your answer. Didn't make sense. Call my husband. He'll give you the name of somebody to do something cheap when you don't know this man from a hole in the wall. Here's my phone number. Don't take down anything else. I don't have my insurance. I don't have anything else.
I do have insurance, and I did have my insurance
So
at
why
the
didn't you
time.
give it to him?
Because I never hit his car.
Just a second.
If I would have hit his car, he would have had my insurance, and it would have been already taken care of because I make way enough money to pay for a mirror or anything else. But there was no damage there.
Let's find out what the
There was nothing. My breast grabbed me like this with
Yes.
my
No,
name
I
that said
didn't.
Brittany
And I
with
was
my
2
husband
seconds
in the
of-
car,
I was
and
2
he
seconds
almost
of
got his
getting
ass
home.
beat. He is a
Straight up.
molester, and he needs to pay for his job.
Straight
he
up.
threw paperwork in my face over this fake claim. Nobody makes that much damage on a vehicle from that silly picture with a mirror. If your car goes into a parking lot and you hit a door, it's a dent. It's not a scratch. It's not a lose a
sense.
mirror. That's common sense. You pull into a parking spot and you park. At lunchtime, you open your door, it hits a car, then it would make a dent. It would not key up an entire car and you break your own mirror off to make a fake claim. I'm not getting into it with the grown man over a fake claim. I was just trying to help him. He called me 500 times. He harassed my family. He harassed my kids, and he grabbed
to
my
my job.
breast. He grabbed my breast in my car and threw paperwork in my face, scratching my lip.
Him.
So he is a molester.
Wow.
Sure.
And to have to even stand next to this man, there should be police here because he's a bad person. This case is fake. He made this all up.
I'm letting you talk
On
yourself out.
February 28th, I pulled into a parking lot at Walmart. I pulled into the car beside him. This man is standing outside of his car. He was not looking at a receipt. Who sits in the parking lot at 6 minutes at Walmart to look at a receipt? He's standing there. He has obviously. I take the time out of my lunch with my name and everything on my uniform, and I represent my company. I had to stay there and talk to this man. I didn't have a choice. I was on lunch. I go inside. I had time to shop and everything. If I really did this, the man would have came into Walmart and found me. He would have definitely found me. He would have got my information. We would have moved forward. A freaking pin stopped your whole thing. Nowadays, we don't need pins. We have cell phones, so this is a lie. This makes no sense. I'm standing here in this courtroom for no reason because this man has harassed my family. This guy, that's why I'm countersuing, because this man came to my house 6 times, talked to my kids, refused information, did not leave a business card, did not do anything. Then he found me in my parking lot, flips around in the middle of the street with my kids in the car, asked me to roll down my window, and I did it because I'm like, who is this guy standing at my door? He pulls it down. You are Brittany. Pulls my breast. Pulls my breast in front of my kids. In front of my kids with my husband in the car.
Do me a favor. Don't repeat yourself. I'm listening to your tirade.
This is exactly what happened.
I just want to let me know when
I'm
you're finished.
angry.
Just a second. Let me know when you're finished.
I'm not finished
Keep
because
going.
this is a lie.
Keep going.
This is a complete lie because nobody scratches
just
a vehicle. If you're in a parking lot, the parking spots are this big.
Miss Warner.
Who can scratch up a whole entire vehicle? I'm an
I told you to stop now. I let you get it out of your system, but I'm not going to listen to it twice. Do you understand?
I do.
I heard about your breast at least twice.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
care.
Anybody else would have been in jail.
Do you understand me? I heard about your breast at least twice. So if you have nothing...
He deserves to hear about my breast 3 times.
And I want to tell you something. I've heard about it as much as I'm going to. Can I see the pictures of the damage to your car?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you can see the pictures of no damage to mine.
I don't care about your car.
Look at that car. If you key up a vehicle, your whole car is damaged and you pay thousands to get it fixed. The worst part of my car is it's dirty.
Now, may I please see the estimate to have your car fixed? What is your last name, sir?
Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobs. I'm going to put you out. Do you understand? I'm going to put you out.
I don't even like being in the same room with this man.
Fine. Your counterclaim's dismissed with prejudice. You can step out. Your counterclaim's dismissed with prejudice. You can step out. Out!
Good luck molesting people.
Wow.
Perfect. Just the way I like to do a case.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Walked up to her, said, and I said, yes, it is. It's on your shirt. And I slid it through about a 2-inch crack on the window. So her window was only opened about that far, so.
Oh, I'm so glad it got quiet in here.
And later today,
Did she answer the phone?
She did.
And what did you tell her?
I said there's a lot of things wrong with this vehicle. That's not what I was looking for. I'm going to bring the car back, and I want the $1,100 back.
So what did you say?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ignacio Olivas says Brittany Hill Warner owes for damaging his vehicle when her car door flew open and hit his car.
How did you know Mr. Olivas?
I just met him recently. We were doing a serve for him.
You doing a what?
We were doing a serve. Other than
On
that,
this case?
On this case.
So
The first
you
time
never
I've ever
knew
met
him before?
No.
So you were trying to serve a summons on that defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he pay you for your service?
He paid our company, yes.
How much did Mr. Olivas pay you for your service?
I believe it was around $49.
And you had the defendant's address?
Yes, I actually have our statement of our attempt for the serve.
May I see it, please? You had her address?
Yes.
How many times did you attempt to serve her at her address?
And that was my second time.
Had you ever seen anybody at the house?
The first time that I went, yes.
Yes, just you?
Yes,
Who
her
did you
husband.
see? Well, you're allowed to leave a summons with a person of suitable age and discretion at the house in your jurisdiction. Why didn't you leave it with her husband?
He denied that she lived there, and we didn't know if it was her husband or not for sure until I pointed out a picture.
Just a second. What exactly did he say to you?
He said another gentleman had already came and asked for her, and he had told her that she did not live there.
Did you attempt to serve her at her place of business?
No, we did not have a...
Only her house?
Yes.
Did you finally locate her?
I was leaving the parking lot, and she was pulling in.
Leaving what parking lot?
The parking lot where she lives. She was pulling in. She pulled into a parking spot. I came around, pulled up behind her, walked up to her, said, Brittany, I have some paperwork for you. And she said, my name's not Brittany. And I said, yes, it is. It's on your shirt. And I slid it through about a 2-inch crack on the window. So her window was only opened about that far, so...
Oh, I'm so glad it got quiet in here. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $26.91. Thank you very much. We're finished.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm 100% satisfied because she knows when somebody's lying. She knows when somebody is telling the truth and everything. And to myself, I don't think he's a molester either. You have to do the right thing and come to see Judge Judy because she's the best in the United States.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shady Fagan versus Foy, step forward.
Alita Shady Fagan is suing Talisha Foy for a refund for a car she sold her that turned out to have issues.
Miss Foy, do you have the title to this car?
No, ma'am.
Where-
She has it.
When did you give it to her?
I left it in the car when she had came to get it.
Oh, the car is back at your house, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So the car is in your house. You have the title.
She took the title out the car.
Did you?
Ma'am,
The answer is either yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Now, that's answered my question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Defendant said to you, I don't know who you are. I'm not giving you my car without some collateral. So you gave her the $1,100 in cash.
I did.
And what did you do after you got the $1,100 and she took off with the car?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Alita Shady Fagan says Talisha Foy owes her a refund for a car with issues.
You were looking for a used car. You found it online. You contacted the defendant. You went to her house. And according to you, she told you there were some issues with the car. Had you discussed a purchase price?
Yes.
And what was the purchase price?
$1,100.
According to you, you wanted to take the car to your mechanic before you finalized the deal, and you said to the defendant that you wanted to take the car to your mechanic. The defendant, according to your complaint, said to you, I don't know who you are. I'm not giving you my car without some collateral. So you gave her the $1,100 in cash.
I did.
And where did you take the car?
I took it to NTB in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
To inspect it?
I told them I got a car. I said, can you look this over for me?
And about what time did you get there?
I want to say around 3:30 in the afternoon, 3:45.
Okay, so it was shortly after you left her.
I drove straight there.
And they examined the car, and according to you, it needed a lot of work. You called her. What time did you call her?
I want to say around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Where did you call her from?
From NTB.
From the mechanic?
Yes.
Did she answer the phone?
She did.
And what did you tell her?
I said, I'm here. I just got the printout. There's a lot of things wrong with this vehicle. There's over $4,000 worth of repairs. That's not what I was looking for. I'm going to bring the car back, and I want the $1,100 back.
And she said?
She kind of hesitated. She said, okay, all right, but I'm not home right now. I can call you when I get home. And I said, okay.
Where did you go? Shh. Did she call you from the mechanic?
No, ma'am.
When did she call you?
She called me around, I think, like 8 that night from her cell phone.
Well, I don't care what she called you from. She called you the same day.
Right.
The same day that she had made this transaction with you about 3:30 in the afternoon.
The transaction was around 1 or 1:30.
And what did you do after you got the $1,100 and she took off with the car? What did you do?
Nothing. I was at home all day till I went to my mother's house.
And
which
what did
stayed
you do?
A couple of doors down from me.
And you still had the $1,100?
Yes, ma'am.
She called you and she said, I want to return this car. It's got a lot of damage on it. So what did you say?
I told her she already took the car. She wasn't getting her money back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Did she tell you that she wanted to take the car to a mechanic?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now you have the car, right?
Yes,
But you
ma'am.
don't have the title.
No, ma'am.
She has the title. How are you driving the car without the title?
I'm not driving the car.
Who is?
Nobody is parked in the yard where she left it at.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Can I have the title to the car?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
Your Honor, if I may.
What?
However, I called her at 6, like I said, because I called her on 3 occasions when she did not call me back and she didn't pick up. So I sent the text message, which I have printed out.
I'd like
and
to see it.
And the text messages actually
I'd like to
times.
see it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,100.
Hi, Judge.
Don't touch the car. I actually think that you're a scammer. I actually think that she told you, based upon what I read, that she wanted to have the car checked out. And you told me that you still had the money. You told her, don't bother coming here, I don't have the money. Business is business. That's what you told her. So I actually think that your answers to me and your answers were disingenuous. You understand? I just want you to know what I think about you. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Oh, well, of course I'm happy about it. I agree.
I'm fine with it.
I knew she would see, right through it.
I told her some problems were wrong with it.
Was prepared that it was as is, but she did not disclose
Check engine light was on.
everything that was wrong with the company for $1,100.
You reached into her car to get her phone.
Trying to pull it out of my hands.
An ugly breakup ends with a smash.
My foot is on the gas pedal. I veer away and I hit the wrought iron fence of my neighbor.
And her ex had a hand in it.
But for the fact that you reached into her car,
But for if she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
if you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ashley Hamblin is suing her former lover. Jonathan Davis for damages resulting from him causing her to crash her car.
Order. All rise. It's case number 157 on the calendar in the matter of Hamblin versus Davis.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Davis, I'm going to tell you, I read these papers very carefully. And, you know, I believe that everyone is supposed to be responsible for incidents that they create. And it's an interesting case because Miss Hamblin, and on this particular evening, you had some words as you left her apartment. She subsequently got into her car, and she was in the driver's seat and driving. She says, however, that because of your actions, an accident was created in which both neighbors' property was damaged and her property was damaged. That's an unusual circumstance because usually the person who was at the wheel of a car is responsible. But I read this very carefully, and I want you, in your own words, to tell me what happened on June the 7th.
Okay, so on June the 7th, I was to pick her up from her place. She had told me that she was pregnant, and then she told me that she was going to terminate the pregnancy. I was there to pick her up, to take her back to my place, to take care of her through that process. I had been suspicious that she wasn't pregnant because she had never sent me a blood test. When I arrived, she told me that she had already taken the pill, which made me more suspicious.
Taken
the abortion pill.
Is that they call the morning after pill?
The morning, whatever it might be called.
Okay, so she was going to go back to your house.
Yeah.
So that you could care for her.
Right.
Okay.
So she told me that she'd already taken the pill, which aroused my suspicion further. And I said, can you show me any proof that you were ever made the blood test? Can you show me the pill that it came in from Planned Parenthood? She refused. She said it was in the trash, and then she said the trash was in the dump. So I left her place confused as to what happened.
So you said, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
Well, she told you to leave.
I left.
Okay, go ahead.
Then I sat in my car. I was parked around the corner. I sat in my car, and I called a couple friends to walk through what had just happened, because I didn't understand it all the way through. I just didn't understand why she would lie about something like that. So just kind of emoting to my friends about what had gone on. I see her across the street get in her car, which surprised me. I just wasn't expecting to see her. And meanwhile, she's calling me from her car, telling me that she's never took the pill, and...
She called you, and you answered the phone, or you just took a message?
She called me, answered the phone, and she told me that she did not take the pill, and she swore at me, told me she did not take the pill. She had been lying.
Called him.
No, shh. You'll have a turn in a minute. Go ahead.
That she did not take the pill, and then she had lied about taking the pill. And then I thought, oh, great, then there's a pill. There's some evidence that what she had been saying wasn't fabricated. So I walked across over to her car and said, can I see the pill? She said it was none of my business, and she refused to show me the pill. That's when I...
You're talking through the window?
I'm talking through the window. The car is stopped.
So the window is down?
The window's rolled down. The car is stopped.
And you've been in the plaintiff's car before?
No, I've never been in her car.
Does your car have automatic windows, or does it have...
Automatic.
Okay, so now the window is down on her car.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Her phone beeps, and I reach in to take her phone to see...
That's where we're going to stop.
Yeah.
Her phone beeped. Where was her phone?
Her phone was in her lap.
So she had a phone in her lap, so
yeah.
You reached your hand into her car to get her phone.
Right, yes.
And?
And I wanted to see if there was some... And then she grabbed my wrists. I immediately let go of the phone. I put my hands up in the universal gesture of, I don't want to get in a fight. And I want to be clear, I didn't open the door. I didn't try to commandeer the steering wheel. And I watched as her car started to roll. This was the car had been stopped. Now the car's starting to roll. And I'm looking at her like, put your foot back on the brake. That's what I'm thinking. Then our car starts to drift towards the center of the street. And I'm kind of doing the gesture of like, she has plenty of time, just move the car back. Then she accelerates the car and plows through the yard of her neighbor across the street. I was not near the car.
Mr. Davis, the question that I'm negligence. One of the questions that courts ask themselves is, but for the actions of Mr. Davis, would Miss Hamblin have had an accident that night with her car?
Right.
And so far, even based on the rather benign story that you tell me, I'm what we all do.
Right.
Fact finders, whether it's a jury or a judge, fact finders put themselves in a situation of the other person.
Right.
Now, I'm in my car. I started my car.
Right.
And you know, the car was started because otherwise the window wouldn't be down.
Right.
So the car was started and her foot is on the brake. As you said, later, her foot was on the brake. Then you reach into the car so that you're really trespassing on her property by putting your hand into her car to lift out her phone. That causes, and it's already been an emotional evening, probably for both of you. Okay, Miss Hamlin, you tell me your version of the events.
He did come to my house. We had a disagreement.
About what?
About he was pressuring me into getting a certain medical procedure that he referenced earlier. I wasn't quite sure to make a definitive decision on that matter. He left. About 15 minutes transpired. I left my home. Where was I going? To the store. I have a cat. I have cats. Get cat
She told me
food.
she was going to see a friend.
Anyways, get into my car. I rolled down my window halfway to let the hot air out. I do have my phone in my lap. I am text messaging. I never called him, by the way. I did not know he was still in my neighborhood.
Of course not.
Yeah, 15 minutes
I know.
had transpired. I didn't even know he was still there. So I'm firing off some text messages, just fiddling with my phone, because you can't do that while you're driving in California. Next thing you know, I look up and I see him bum rushing my car. My car is now in drive. It is in gear, and I'm starting to go out to veer out of my parking spot. And he's reaching into my car, trying to commandeer my phone violently, trying to pull it out of my hands.
Just a minute, was it in your hand or your lap?
It was in my lap first, and then he reached into my lap, and then we were struggling over it.
Okay, so the phone was in your lap when he walked over.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we were struggling over it. And meanwhile, my car is, I'm trying to ascend forward, get out of the situation, try to circumvent, try not to actually run him over, and try to get away from the situation. And everything really happened so fast. My foot is on the gas pedal. I am in gear. I am trying to get away. And, you know, grabs my wrist, phone, I veer away, and I hit the...
Your insurance covered that?
They did. The fence, yes.
And what about your car?
I had only liability, and so the damages, I have the estimate.
I'd like to see the
$1,531.46.
I'd like to see the estimates. Perfect. And photos of the car if you have them. Thank you. Did you need a new tire?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Davis, did you stick around after the accident?
Yes.
Were the police called?
Yes.
Is there a report?
Yes.
Can I see the report, please? Okay, the only thing that the police report said, and this is a paraphrase of what happened, says the victim was driving, witness, they refer to you as a witness, grabbed phone from her hand, causing her to swerve and hit the gate. Okay, so Mr. Davis, as I started to say, as I said a little bit earlier, but for your actions that day in waiting outside her apartment, whatever you were doing, if you were speaking to friends, but coming over to her car, trying to grab her property, even for the purposes of looking at it to see who she was talking to, see who was calling her, whatever it is, the whole evening was very disturbing for both of you, caused this accident. Yeah. That's what caused the accident. But for the fact that you went over, but for the fact that you went over to her car, reached into her car, which is A, illegal, and B, an aggressive action, reached into her car, that accident, the way it happened, would not have happened, but for your action. So you are...
rebut that for a second?
Well, are we going to talk about it? Are we going to talk about the law of it?
The context, but for if she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
Oh, you know, and if Adam hadn't taken that bite out of the apple, there's a certain cutoff point, you know. If you kept your pants zipped, sir, then you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble. We're not going back that far.
Right.
We don't have to go back that far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
What I'm telling you is, he's not going to pay your moving costs.
Why not,
He's not. Why not?
Yes.
Because you're a grown-up person. If you don't like the apartment that you're living in, you move.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Davis caused her to crash her car when he tried to grab her phone.
Okay, we go back to the point where, but for your actions in going over to her car and aggressively trying to get her phone, this accident wouldn't have happened. And it's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
Much of what she wants, she's not going to, unfortunately, be able to get, but she is going to get the repairs for her car. She is going to get the repairs for her car, which were $1,530. That's totally reasonable because you actually caused that accident, even though you weren't involved by driving. What? You're not going to get the increase in your insurance rates and the ding to your license. And it's not happening.
Okay.
$1,530. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
There was a lot more context to the accident and why it went down.
A crime was committed. Your emotions don't matter.
There was a lot more emotional ringer that she was putting me through.
You know, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what to do with my body. I'm sorry.
Keep my hands to myself on everything, including the phone on Tinder.
Don't ever go on Tinder. No one go on Tinder. Ever.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Pope versus Watkins. Step forward.
25-year-old Amber Pope is suing her former property manager, Vernon Watkins, for the return of rent and moving costs.
Renting a room in a house where there were 8 bedrooms, 4 up and 4 down.
That sounds about correct, Your Honor.
And you were renting initially from someone else other
Yes.
than the defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were living in that room starting when?
February 2nd of 2018.
And in your room, how many people were there?
So each room could fit up to 4 people. It's 2 bunk beds in each room.
Did you know who owned the house?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
But there was a leaseholder that evidently left, and Mr. Watkins became the leaseholder. You took over that lease.
Correct.
Yes.
In what year, sir?
That was April 8th of this year, 2019.
Just tell me, for my own curiosity, what kind of rent do you pay to be in a room with 3 other people in an 8-bedroom house?
Well, I paid $450 a month because before I came to that house, I was in transitional living.
And was there ever a time when there were 4 people in your room?
Yes, ma'am, unfortunately, yes.
Okay. So, how much, Mr. Watkins, did you pay for this house a month in rent?
Per month?
Yes.
Well, it's a duplex.
Just
And we pay $5,800 per month.
who's we?
My partner and I, we're a sole proprietorship.
Okay. So, of 4 rooms up, 4 rooms down, each room can hold up to 4 people. You could actually make, if those rooms were full, $16,000 a month.
It's potentially yes.
Yes. Well, that's a pretty good deal. So that's $10,000. Clear money for you.
Right, but we don't do that. We don't have all rooms full.
Okay. But you could potentially.
Potentially.
Potentially. I just wanted to know. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win this, Miss Pope, because you're probably not.
Okay.
Because once he took over the lease, you say you felt uncomfortable
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
He was letting different kinds of people in to live there, and you felt uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
So you moved.
Yes, May 13th.
And you want him to pay for your moving expenses.
My prorated
and-
rent, moving
yeah,
costs,
just a sec.
deposit.
Yeah, so he's not going to pay for your moving costs. You didn't like the new landlord. You had no obligation to stay there. You can move. That's what grown-ups do.
Yes,
They
that's true, Your Honor.
move.
However, I was sexually harassed in the situation.
Listen to me. I read your papers.
Okay.
You felt uncomfortable there. You said you didn't like him. He walked around in his underwear. So you don't like it? Move.
Right.
You don't like it? Move. So that's what you did. Now, did you pay May's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Is not an answer. Yes, is an
ma'am, I
answer.
did.
Yes. Okay. And
Ma'am.
you paid on the 1st of the month. When
Yes.
did you tell Mr. Watkins that you were moving?
I told him the week before I was moving.
Tell me about the conversation.
Well, basically, ma'am.
Not basically.
I'm sorry.
I just want you to tell me a week before you were moving, you said to him and he said to you.
So on May 6th, I told him I was going to be leaving because I felt sexually harassed by him.
Is that what you said? No, I don't even believe that.
Well, ma'am, I
Miss
have
Pope,
evidence
Miss
here
Pope.
that he asked me to be a stripper.
And what did you say?
I said, no, of course not. He said, no, I insist. You have big breasts, thick thighs, big hips. Why not be a stripper? You can make some money.
And?
I have it right here.
I'm going to look at
Now, this evidence is a conversation between me and my housemate that we have about him asking us to be strippers. He said that he's...
Just a second. Is that conversation that you had with him or with somebody else who's not here?
Somebody else who's not here,
I
unfortunately.
don't mean that.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I take sexual harassment complaints very, very seriously. And when somebody uses them for a leg up in this kind of nonsense, I don't buy it. I take it very, very seriously. If you didn't like the new landlord, you pick yourself up and you move.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Amber Pope says her former property manager turned of rent and moving costs.
What I'm telling you is he's not going to pay your moving costs.
Why not,
He's
Your
not.
Honor?
Why not?
Yes.
Because you're a grown-up person. If you don't like the apartment that you're living in, you move.
Well, ma'am, in a higher
Just a sec.
Okay.
Don't argue with me.
Okay.
You know, I take sexual harassment complaints very, very seriously. And when somebody uses them for a leg up in this kind of nonsense, I don't buy it.
It definitely wasn't for a leg up, ma'am.
I take it very, very seriously. If you didn't like the new landlord, you felt uncomfortable. He was bringing in people that you didn't like, that you didn't feel were as wholesome as the prior landlord, then you have the right to vote with your feet. You pick yourself up and you move. And if it's expensive, that's not his problem.
Well, ma'am, before he came in, I was very comfortable.
I don't care if you were very comfortable before. Now you weren't, so you move.
Yes, ma'am, but it's not that simple just to move in the height of gentrification in L.A.
That's not
I'm
his
a victim
fault.
of sexual
That's not his
abuse.
fault.
He kept approaching me with inappropriate conversations. It triggered me psychologically, ma'am. That's the reason why I'm here.
Well,
I'm an educator, ma'am.
What I'm telling you is he's not paying your moving expenses. You paid for May.
Yes.
You lived there in May.
Yes. I didn't stay to the end of May, ma'am.
I don't care.
Okay.
When you live in a place that you are living there on a daily basis, so you live in an apartment and you move out in the middle of the month, you pay for the month.
Okay.
You gave him a week's notice that you were moving out.
Well, not necessarily a week notice and a verbal, but I made it very clear, like, I don't want to live here anymore. So I decided to leave May 13th.
Then he said goodbye.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You gave him a week's notice that you were moving out.
Well, not necessarily a week notice and a verbal, but I made it very clear, like, I don't want to live here anymore. So I decided to leave May 13th.
Then he said goodbye, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's
But
right.
also, too, the fact that he purposely moved in a man dressed as a woman into my room to purposely make me uncomfortable.
You walk with your feet. You don't like the room anymore. You don't like the landlord. You don't like the roommate. Find another roommate.
But, ma'am, but what about him constantly coming into my room while I'm dressing fresh out the shower? My witness here even witnessed that.
Just a second.
Yes.
We're done.
Okay.
Never happened.
That did happen. Your Honor, my witness time, she witnessed him coming into my room as I'm getting dressed, fresh out the shower, unannounced, no intention to show the room to new people, no intention to make any new changes to the room, no maintenance issues. I'm supposed to be comfortable with that?
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Pardon your excuse. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Her payment was going to be the furniture from your storage unit.
I never agreed that they could have anything. I worked very hard. Can I interrupt?
No.
Judge Judy.
Yes, I'm a grown adult, but I shouldn't have to be forced to move and pay high expense moving costs.
I have a number of other female tenants that have never had a problem, so this is all made up.
Even though the situation didn't go in my favor, the marathon continues, so I'm gonna keep fighting.
There's no way that I would disrespect any person in that way.
A simple transaction
This is a car trade.
gets super complicated,
They reported the car stolen.
and a rough road was ahead.
She's driving her car, and she's pulled over by 12 cops.
Your Honor, I was also held at gunpoint.
We had an active felony warrant.
Yes, ma'am.
They also found a meth pipe when they searched the vehicle, and you were taken into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie.
This is Judge Judy.
Jessica Salmonen is suing LaDonna Brosh and her husband, John Clough, for helpfully taking her car and her property.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom. Yeah, it's case number 54 on the calendar in the matter of Salmonen versus Brosh Clough. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
You knew each other before this car trade?
Yes, Your Honor.
For how long?
No, we didn't, Your Honor. I had just met her
Yeah, we just
at the
met her.
car trade. Maybe like a week before that.
I don't want to hear both of you. Who's going to speak for your end? Pick a person.
Maybe about a week before that.
Did you make up your mind that he's speaking for you? This is going to be one of those cases, Officer Byrd, where you're going to find that these two people, or three people, deserve each other. So this was a car trade.
Yes,
this was a car trade. You didn't have to answer. That was a statement, not a question. You traded your
Chrysler 200, 2011.
to the defendants for their
Mercedes-Benz 2000 SUV.
and you signed off titles, correct?
Correct.
And the date you signed off the titles was what date?
April 26th.
Of this year?
Of last year.
Last year, 2018. And where exactly physically did that title switching take place?
At their house in North...
And your house?
Correct.
And you had never met each other before?
That is not from their son. I've known them for over 12 years. They lived in Rush City, where I also had resided.
They said they didn't know.
She didn't know us.
So this is what happened, Bert, based upon my reading of this almost unintelligible complaint and answer. A sale was completed on the 26th of April of 2018. It was a sale by trade.
Right.
What they didn't know, and she didn't tell them, was that there were outstanding loans on the Chrysler 2000.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Then why did repo?
Hey, that's what they say.
Right.
That there was a trade, their Mercedes, her Chrysler 2011, but her Chrysler, there was money owed on her Chrysler. How much money? Just give me a figure. How much money?
Was owed still?
Was owed still on the Chrysler.
8,000 or 9.
Excuse me. You got
8 to 9. 12,000 is still owed on the Chrysler. So they wake up a couple of months later, and the car is repossessed.
It was like a week later, ma'am.
A weekly. The car is repossessed.
Got it.
So now she's got the Mercedes. They have no Chrysler on the Chrysler. She doesn't answer their calls. You know, this is a, I don't want to know from you.
Your Honor.
And I'm speaking. And so they report their car stolen.
We did it after informing her that we were going to.
Don't interrupt me.
Okay.
She's driving her car, and she's pulled over by 12 cops and arrested. Shh. We're not talking Phil here. We're talking a courtroom. She's pulled over and arrested on the stolen car.
Your Honor, I was also held at gunpoint.
So you were held at gunpoint.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell you, this is a they deserve each other. She sold them a car on which there was $12,000 owed. They gave her a perfectly usable car on which there was no money owed, right? Now they're without a car.
Your Honor.
I'm speaking.
Okay.
So they say, well, we don't have a car anymore, so we can call and say she stole our car. You know you can't do that.
Was it like that, sir? Or ma'am?
Let me explain to you. On the 26th of April, 2018, you no longer had any interest in the 2000 Mercedes-Benz. You could not call in a report that your car was stolen. That's calling in a false police report.
No, the police officer told me to do that, ma'am.
Yep.
Just a second. You can't tell me what the police officer told you, because it's one that they didn't use on matchbook covers.
Well, then.
Just a second. You can't tell me that. It's hearsay anyway. And no police authority would tell you, after a sale has been completed and you no longer have any interest in a car or a piece of property, and you didn't like the deal because you didn't ask enough questions, just pay attention.
I did.
We did ask her if it was a free and clear title, and she said yes.
That is not
Listen to me.
That is
Listen
not
to me. Hey, that's your responsibility.
And I did that.
Listen to me. That's your responsibility. If I buy a car, I have to find out whether or not there's a lien on the car. Do you have the title?
No. Nope.
Did she give you the title?
Just
a second. Did she give... I'm not looking at you.
Okay.
You have to understand, you're not going to win any money in this case. Zippity-doo-dah. Because you traded a car on which you owed $12,000, and I don't believe that you told them that. This is going to end up with zero. Now, it's your responsibility to look.
Correct.
And your responsibility to vet that car.
Correct.
And you didn't do it.
Correct.
But you have no right to call in a report of a stolen vehicle. You weren't an efficient purchaser, so you had no right to use the police. Just like, you know, you have no right to use any law enforcement if it's in order to gain a separate gain. You have the right.
Police orders, they told me to do it because it was still in our name after 30 days, which is the law up in our
If she would have
state.
transferred the title,
I tried. I tried.
Listen, not right away. You didn't, because we wouldn't be able to do nothing.
How did?
You're gone.
Okay, well,
You out.
whatever.
Out.
Tell them all of it. Because if you would have transferred it, you wouldn't have been able to do nothing about it.
You guys took the bottom of my title. That's how they got a new title.
No, he didn't.
Listen to me.
We had to go to the previous
There is
owner.
no question in my mind that you traded cars, as you told me, on April 26th. At that point, the sale completed, finished. His responsibility to look up and find out whether or not there was money out on the car. There's no question that you committed fraud, moral fraud. You sold a car on which you owed over $10,000. And as a result of that, you ended up with a car and they ended up with nothing. Now, if I were looking back at this, I'm saying, listen, I'm not in the court. How can I fix this without going to court and suing her? I'm speaking.
Yep.
I'll call and report the vehicle stolen. Days. It is possible if she hadn't registered the car, therefore the car is still in your name. Why didn't you register the car?
I tried to when I gave him.
No, you tried to, and
it wouldn't let me.
It wouldn't let you.
He had taken the bottom of this card and the bottom that should be right here. The day that I gave him my title, and they knew the lien was on there. They were going to pay it to help me out because I could no longer take payments. That's why I took a vehicle that was only a 2000 Mercedes.
That's a lie.
My vehicle had 74,000 on it.
That's a lie.
They were going
to pay
They were going to take over the payment.
$12,000 on your car? What are you, crazy?
They wanted a new vehicle.
What are you, crazy? You wanted a new vehicle? So for an 8-year-old car, they gave you they're running 2000 Mercedes.
My vehicle ran
Listen to
them.
me. Zero.
It needed
Now,
work.
do you have a car?
No.
What happened to the Mercedes?
After
Shh.
It's
What?
gone. They have it.
No, we don't, Your Honor.
Where is the Mercedes?
After I got it back and I fixed it, I resold it.
Okay, so you got just a second. So you got the Mercedes back.
Correct. After I went through the process of getting everything fixed.
So
back.
you got, just a second.
Yep.
So you got the Mercedes back.
Yep.
You got the Mercedes back and you sold it. So in effect, you still have the Mercedes or the money from it.
Correct.
Because I don't believe you if I asked you how much you sold. I know. I'm not going to believe you. So it doesn't make any difference unless you have a bill of sale from the person you sold it to, do you?
Nope.
No. Okay. So you have a car. You don't have a car anymore.
No, ma'am.
Bird, would you look up the value, please, of 2 different cars for me? One is a Mercedes-Benz 2000. What kind was it?
ML 430?
Mercedes-Benz ML 430.
It had 270,000 miles.
2000. Am I
sorry.
not speaking?
2330.
And would you look up a 2011 Chrysler
200.
200?
With 74,000 miles.
6,352.
$6,000. So what you want me to believe is that they took over a $12,000 loan on a car that was worth $6,000. I just want you want me to believe that these people who you knew casually over the years took over your $12,000 loan.
They wanted to help me. No, excuse me, Mom, I said that wrong. They said that they would help me by taking over the loan.
No.
And I would take a vehicle that was less. Worth
Just a
less.
second. These people are not giving you a gift of.
He continues in a moment.
You called in a police report of a stolen vehicle.
But it was after I was
just
informed to.
Hey, I didn't ask you a question. I told you something.
And I was telling you something.
That's hysterical.
And later today,
That's his car. That's the gray Buick
That's
Park
him.
Avenue. Want to go up there and see it again?
I knew what I hit.
Well, clearly not, because you denied it.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Salmonen says John Clough had her falsely arrested and then unlawfully took back a car he traded to her. The defendant is countersuing for towing and impound fees. and tools.
Now, these two people who I only just met are not helping you out by taking over your $12,000 debt on a car that they could go to the corner and buy from a used car lot for $6,000. You got it? I don't believe that.
This
so there's no
explains it all.
question in my mind that you didn't tell them about this debt.
I did, ma'am.
Ma'am, this explains it all. This is the police report from when she got picked up with the stolen vehicle, and she does nothing but lie through the whole paperwork on when
No, I have
false information.
I have the police report,
I'd like to
ma'am.
False information.
I want to see the
everything.
police report. I'll see them both.
And also the thing
See what I
showing
mean?
that
They both,
I
see
had
what I mean
talked to
about
them.
deserving each other, Bird?
No, sorry, ma'am. Don't deserve nothing
Oh,
like this.
yes,
Police
sir.
report.
You may think so,
Mr.
but-
Clough, Mr. Clough,
You may think
let me
so.
tell you
Here's
something.
ma'am.
What?
Right now, you're not in a bad place.
No.
You got your car back, you sold it, and as far as I'm concerned, you called in a police report of a stolen vehicle, and she was arrested at gunpoint.
But it's after
Now,
I was
just as-
informed to.
Hey, don't interrupt me. Don't
When do I get to
interrupt me.
speak?
I didn't ask you a question. I told you something.
And I was telling you something.
Oh, really? That's hysterical. At the time they pulled you over, you had an active felony warrant. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie. And at the time they pulled you over with your active felony drug warrant, you gave them a wrong name.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. And you were taken into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
I paid the bail.
They also found a meth pipe when they searched the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So you don't have your car anymore,
No, ma'am.
and her car was worth $2,000, $2,330.
No, the car that she...
Six
It's the
thousand.
Mercedes, ma'am.
6,000. The one that she...
Oh, the car that she gave them was
Right,
$6,000.
6,000.
But actually, she didn't have any equity in that car because she...
Than that, ma'am.
Show me.
Still ahead was 10,000.
Okay, so you had no equity in the car?
No,
no
I only
equity in the
paid
car.
some, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
We're done. I've sort of read both the complaint and the answer before I started here, and I said I'm dealing with people who really deserve each other. I don't believe for one second that this man gave you a gift of either $5,000 or $6,000.
Ma'am, I never said that. He never gave me a gift.
No, it would have been a gift. Too much smoking.
No.
It must have been, listen, madam, if you have a car on which you owe $10,000 and the car is only worth $6,000, then if somebody takes that off your hand, they're giving you a gift because they have to pay $4,000. Do you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that there is a possibility, albeit a slim possibility, you were advised that if the car had not been registered within 30 days of the sale,
Correct.
that you could, in fact, report it stolen.
Correct.
Because then it was still under your name, and you could still be responsible if something
Correct.
happened with the car. So there is that possibility.
Ma'am,
so the only...
it originally was not in his name.
So the only... I'm going to make this as simple as possible for both of you. When you come into court, there's a doctrine. It's called the doctrine of clean hands, which means when you come into court and ask the court to help you, you're supposed to come in with clean hands. I'm done. Finished. Your case is dismissed.
Ma'am,
As
they-
is your countersuit. We're finished.
Thank you.
Bye.
They stole everything I owned out of my
Here you
vehicle,
go.
even with my
Sorry,
property of my
excuse me.
dad.
She was homeless. I'd help her out a little bit. I didn't know there was a lien. I asked her 5, 6 times. Is it free, clear title?
They stole everything I owned, and they got away with stealing from somebody.
Yes, yes. My fault for not looking right away.
Not to do anything with our kids' friends.
Everything I owned, and I'm done.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Wallace versus Kolaski. Step forward.
Richard Wallace is suing motorist Joffrey Koloski for backing into his car in a parking lot.
Mr. Kolaski, I'm going to start with you, sir. You don't know Mr. Wallace.
No, I don't. Not at all.
Mr. Wallace says that you hit his parked car.
Yes.
And that was in March of this year. Do you remember the date in March?
March the 3rd, Sunday.
Okay. And it was hit in a parking lot?
Yes.
What parking lot?
The YMCA in the handicap spot.
And you were parked in the handicapped spot?
Yes, I was.
Do you go to that gym, Mr. Kolaski?
I do.
Were you there on March 3rd?
Yes.
Now, I've read the complaint and I've read the answer. Mr. Wallace did not see who hit his car, but someone hit his car in the parking lot, and there are no witnesses here. Mr. Wallace says that he has a video of your car hitting his car. What kind of car do you have?
I have a 2000. It's gray.
Do you remember how many cars were parked in the parking lot that day?
Well, I need to clarify something here. I go there at 5 a.m., okay?
No. You have to clarify your answer of how many cars were parked there?
No, because he said that...
No, don't tell me what he said.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Watch his car, not the sign. Watch his car.
How far he moved it from
Jump.
the sign?
See his car?
I saw the car.
It moved.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Wallace is suing motorist Joffrey Kowalski for backing into his car in a parking lot.
Now, I asked you if you knew how many cars were parked in the parking lot that day.
Maybe about 20.
And you were driving a 2003 Buick, Park Avenue, gray, both in the parking lot. Where was your car hit, Mr. Wallace?
The front bumper.
So someone backed into you?
Yes, he did. He hit there's a portable handicap sign. He smashed into that and smashed into my car.
And the sign smashed into your car?
No, the car did too.
Okay, and that's what the video was going to show?
Oh, you bet.
May I see it, please?
You bet.
Did you know this video existed? That is your
blue
car.
That's him pulling in. Almost hits me as he pulls in.
But he didn't. That's his car. That's the gray Buick Park Avenue. Want to go up there and see it again, Mr. Kowalski?
Excuse me?
Want to go up there and see it again?
No, I saw it. I saw it.
And you'll see him getting out of the car. You can clearly see it's him. And that's about it there.
You don't even go and see if there was any damage to your car?
I knew what I hit.
Well, clearly not, because you denied it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You don't even go and see if there was any damage to your car?
I hit the handicap sign.
No, you want to see it? You want to see it again?
Fine.
Let's take a look at it again. I need to see it again. I need to see it again.
You know what? This is all...
I need to see it again.
This is all comes on me now. I've never seen... Okay.
Watch his car, not the sign. Watch his car.
How far he moved it from the sign.
See his car?
I saw the car.
It moved.
It moved.
You didn't even walk to the back of the car to see if you did any damage. Can I see the estimate for fixing the car?
Your Honor, he wouldn't even give the St. Paul Police his insurance.
Thank you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,038.38. Thank you very much. We're done here.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She knew my criminal history before I even moved in.
Did you post this?
Yes, I did.
Considering your history, this is pretty dumb.
Next Judge Judy.
I've never seen any of the stuff that he has.
I told him I had the video. He wouldn't even give